Hello, ladies and gents. Welcome back to a new and another episode of Crunch Time by a Sense of Capital. Your host of today, like the last 5 or 4 episodes, I think, is Julian again. Honestly, I just arrived at my spot and my location where I record my streams, so I almost late to my own party, even if it's the party of NVIDIA. Again, before I forget it, because now I need to accelerate a little bit the stuff we're talking about today. No, as always, no financial advice. It's your own money, your own decision. Especially today, it's just there is no guarantee for correctness. I will not talk too deep as I usually do about the stocks. I'm actually not even a shareholder of NVIDIA. For me, it's just really entertainment purpose today to have this call. And so I'm very grateful to have all of you in. It's now 10 p.m. German, or let's say CET, Central European time. And so just in time, the stock, the market's closed. And for me, let's jump quickly in. Of course, the reason for today's call is just one reason. Very likely the earnings results released, the financial results of the year, which get released by the well-known and everywhere present name company, stock, however you want to call it, NVIDIA. We really all hope it will somehow, or not all of us, the short guys very likely not, but we hope it will lift up all the boats and bring them to the docks of capital, but we will see. So today, my target of this call is actually to see what is the impact on the market. So I will not give you deeply insights to the company. For me, it's just important, okay, what was the revenue forecast? What's the actual revenue? What was the profit forecast? What's the actual profit? That's just the two numbers I want to take a look at. And then I will compare it to a few different stakeholder companies who are connected to NVIDIA, which is two manufacturers, Taiwan Semiconductor, then Intel. So as I mentioned, two semiconductor companies. Then we go on with some customers, some major customers like Amazon, Google, Alibaba, and Microsoft. And Microsoft, the last one, is basically kind of a split because as well it's a cooperation partner, like very likely all of them somehow. And then on the last sector or last category, we talk about corporations partner, like I already mentioned at Microsoft. So ServiceNow, which providing cloud computing solutions for managing enterprise services, and Snowflake, which as well has today financial results. So this is of course a little manipulated, this stock and the price development of the next minutes by their own performance. But Snowflake, if you're not aware of this company, is a cloud-based data platform. Yeah, as I mentioned, or just for information, for me it's more important because on Monday I purchased a stock which I already owned or hold in the past, which is Indie Group, and as well as Semiconductor, specialized on automobile solutions. And so I'm a little bit affected or not. Of course, that's the reason why I hope as well for my other stocks I'm holding that NVIDIA brings some positive energy to the market, which was a little bit hurt in the past. But we will see what will be the outcome of today. Let me quickly check for you. So as far as I can see, no results for you now. I will quickly share my screen soon. As soon the results are there, but till then I will tell you a little bit more. So as I mentioned, for me it's really the Super Bowl. It's not just an average financial results release, and very likely I'm sharing this opinion with a lot of other viewers, audience, content creators, investors, whoever, if you're long or short. A lot of people are setting a very high focus today on this call. As I mentioned, you will not learn so much out of it. Maybe we just together investigate and observe a little bit the impact on the overall market, as I mentioned, on the different stakeholder categories. It's just about basically grabbing some popcorn. That's the reason on my thumbnail you can see a popcorn in a movie clip. It's not about, from my side, having a very specific opinion about all of this. I'm very sure there are a lot of other content creators out there, or even private investors who are not creating any content, who are more aware with the different aspects of the semiconductor and in the meanwhile already software provider NVIDIA. When I was younger, I just was a customer basically of the GPUs of NVIDIA, but not for today actually. That's how far I can tell you right now. Yeah, just perhaps some information. This indie group, what I purchased on Monday, and very likely I will create a pitch time episode on this in the future, is automated fabless semiconductor vendor, just focused on semiconductors for the automotive industry, and they separate the target in the ADAS, so advanced driver assistance systems. They provide solutions for this sector, as well for in-cabin user experience, and the last sector is electrification. And therefore I'm a little bit more focused. NVIDIA, maybe I share my screen quickly and we take a look in the former recent quarter results, Q1 this year. Let me share my screen for you, and maybe I zoom out a little bit so it's a little bit better to see. So I hope this is working for you. Let me check this. Okay, perfect. And as you can see, I mean, yeah, a lot of people are aware of these numbers. 11 billion is the forecast in revenue. Data center will be a heavy driver very likely, and was already last quarter. And as you can see, the four categories: data center, main driver, gaming, professional visualization, and automotive. As I mentioned, the last one is more interesting for me. And then I have in the background all the different stocks which I mentioned at the beginning. So AMD and AMD. Wait, maybe in the I need to. Yes, so perfect. AMD and Indie stock as a direct competitor. AMD, of course, stronger than Indie. Indie is more in the ramp-up phase, let's say it like this from my perspective, at least, than Taiwan Semiconductor Manufacturing and Intel, which is again some kind of a second ramp-up stage. So as if you are a little bit more aware of the history of Intel and how it's now developing again, and people, some have high hopes in this stock, in this share. Let's see how this will run out. We have Amazon over here. We have Alphabet. As I mentioned, I picked the C share, Alibaba, Microsoft, ServiceNow, and Snowflake. So that's what we're talking about. Let's check again. The results. And for now, right now, there's nothing launched yet. I'm already getting excited, even if it's not a stock I'm holding. I mean, I tried. It's even let's really compare it to the Super Bowl. If you watch football, American football, basically, even I'm not a huge football fan, and I'm watching some qualifier games and of course the finals, so the Super Bowl. But basically, even if I'm not cheering most of the time for a specific team, I always try to get a little bit more into it, to get more emotions, you know. And even if holding shares and stocks and investment in general and managing your capital, it should be a little bit less emotional, I guess. At least I think it's definitely more appropriate to get a little bit distance to this topic. In this regard, because I'm not involved so heavily, I just try to push and go to the team, even if I didn't imagine it a few days ago, honestly. But now I'm on the side of the long team. I want to see positive results. That's definitely my target. Of course, in general, great for all who are invested to get the positive result. And who knows how this will affect the market. Maybe it will not be the key of somehow some kind of a treasure of happiness. Very likely not, actually, but in my opinion. But I hope they beat. I expect they beat, and I hope it has somehow a positive effect. And very likely, even if it lifts up this Messias NVIDIA, it will lift up all the boats. I'm quite sure by other effects, quickly they will go down again if it's reasonable. Okay, guys, I don't hope that, as I mentioned regularly, you can check my other streams and episodes, and in the future I will, in the next 1 or 2 weeks, upcoming weeks, I will open my complete books and invite you to see all my positions in detail, really the absolute amounts of money, not only the relative and percentage, and what kind of stocks I'm holding in my portfolio. So stay tuned in this regard. But for now, it's you can check my other episode as well, which I upload, but they are always more focused on the stocks because most of them I own, actually. At this time, as I mentioned, just eating some popcorn. And if you're in the same situation like me, I would not know with who I should share this experience and watch together the financial results of NVIDIA. Of course, there are more exciting things in life, and it's Wednesday in a regular working week, at least in Germany. So yeah, maybe you have other problems or things which you are focused on. However, I like to share this experience together with you, and if you like to share it as well with me, so stay in the call, and let's see together what will be the outcome of today. Okay, another refresh to see if there's already some aftermarket development recognizable in the yes, 1.2, so it's getting a little bit up at least. Okay, so just the last, I think yesterday the price decreased a little bit of NVIDIA. On Monday it increased. Today it increased slightly by 3%, so we are almost on an all-time high, I guess. Yeah, actually I owned the stock I think at the end of last year, and I owned both AMD and NVIDIA, and by myself I've decided as well, mainly on the fundamentals. For me, at least, on the fundamentals, I decided for AMD. Even AMD I'm not holding anymore. But yeah, obviously it was definitely a wrong decision. Yeah, there's no question about it. If you see the development of this crazy stock, so it's, let's see. I'm very excited to what will be the outcome in the upcoming minutes, seconds, whatever. So very excited about this. Very excited. And wait, let me quickly update my technical setup. I'm still in as well, like in the group, the semiconductor company I talked about. I'm as well, honestly, a little bit on a wrap-up stage when I talk about my technical setup. So therefore, please forgive me if not everything is working so well at the beginning. I just tried to find a certain routine for doing the stuff which I'm doing here, and finding as well my own way, let's say it like this, to create content. But it already feels quite good for me, and yeah, so therefore I'm on a good way, in my opinion. Let's check the results of the past, and if you take a look at this, let me zoom in a little bit. It's just, I mean, who expected this kind of revenue jump in terms of forecast. That's crazy. That's crazy. And even a lot of people I know personally or business-wise, a lot of them, they thought, oh, it's definitely overpriced. There's no doubt about it. And within the past 3 months, step by step, they joined the more optimistic team, let's say it like this. And the closer today's earnings call came, the more those people decided to really cheer for NVIDIA. And maybe there are good reasons for it. Maybe there are really good reasons for it. I mean, of course, in the past years, in the midterm period, there was a lot of, let's say, of course, there are always some exotic and sometimes positive, sometimes more negative impulses which affect the markets. But I think it was quite crazy times with the Corona pandemic, with the pushing all the money into the markets from all the different central banks, and now somehow the rising inflation, the strongly rising inflation, and so let me to take a look. Some motor bicycle was crossing here and watching, so I need to take care of myself, guys. However, yeah, and even now, a lot of more critical effects on the market, mostly on the macroeconomic side, which for me, of course, and a lot of the investors is definitely reasonable. But I personally, yeah, it's great to have at least this AI, artificial intelligence hook somehow, which you can grab. Hopefully, at least some companies and some tech companies are pushing the market in the upfront and more higher, even if that's very likely not a sustainable business which you can do over long periods. So still the numbers are not here at the moment. So we step in, I would say, into the latest. I zoom in a little bit more. Yeah, I think that should work out for you perfectly. So when we check the numbers already there, those numbers here, as you can see, have been quite impressive by beating the forecast of revenue of roughly 0.7 billion US dollars, and on the same time the earnings per share by 20 cents, US dollar cents. So but of course the benchmark now is set very high, and the higher the benchmark is, as you know, it's a guidance game, the higher the chances that somehow sooner or later there will be a miss by a company. They will somehow stumble and fall or drop, and then there's always the question how they drop. And some people are just waiting that NVIDIA is dropping. Yeah, I try to stay more neutral, but as I mentioned, for today, cheering definitely for Team NVIDIA. And don't worry, as I mentioned, normally I set a higher focus on fundamentals. I set a higher focus on research, try to show you more my experience with a stock and my competence and the fundamentals I'm aware of, but not today. Not today. Today is a little bit more special, as I mentioned. It's a little bit more like Christmas, and as I mentioned, it's just more an emotional experience. And yeah, you can take it like, or Julian from A Sense of Capital, he's just cheering for a company which he doesn't even own, yeah, or he doesn't have knowledge about it. But for me, I don't need to have knowledge about all stocks, of course, even if it's such a skyscraper stock like NVIDIA, you know. That's definitely not my sense here. And for me, it's just more about about participating on this event, let's say it like this, because in my opinion, just personally, stocks can be fun as well. Stocks can be fun. It's not just about always money and somehow collecting it and getting always more growth to your stocks and reaching new prices. And of course, it's great to achieve a certain level of profitability when you own stocks. But for me, in this regard or in general, stocks can be as well a fun. It can be a hobby which you can spend a lot of time in your free time, and therefore this is the part more which is today focused. Okay, so now there's something going on. There is something going on. I need to quickly go to the browser. 6% up, 7% up. That's crazy. Okay, I think we cheered for the right team. Give me one more sip with my NVIDIA colored bottle, even if it's not made by NVIDIA. But I don't want to do any promotion for the manufacturer of these bottles. So the press result is not launched yet and uploaded on their website. There are no new numbers on investing.com, which I use regularly for guiding by myself and experiencing live calls. Guys, so we need to stay a little bit more relaxed, even if the numbers with 5% plus looking quite fine. Let's see already if it has an impact on the other stocks. So just wait a second, wait a moment. This 0.3% aftermarket of AMD is not correct. Very likely the Wi-Fi connection or the mobile connection is not the strongest one, and therefore it needs a little bit more time to update. But as soon as it is updated, we will see what is the actual one. 5% here plus, so very, very likely the numbers are solid. And as you can see here now, Q2 revenue trend. Let's check if we can open something already. Okay, Q2 data center. Okay, if those are the numbers, guys, if I'm wrong, okay, actually, if it's really 13 billion, that's the statement. So if you can see it, let me check this. I zoom out a little bit more. One moment, please. Okay, I can't zoom out. I need just to. Okay, but do you see the major numbers for sure in the midsection here? And so 13 billion is very likely. 13.5 billion is very likely the result. Oh man, if that's the result, and why it should not be, because 4.28 was really the revenue of the last quarter. Yeah, you can see it here right now. I need to definitely take 2 more zips out of the bottle. Huge speed by 2.4 billion revenue in this quarter, and 63 cents of earnings per share. You can see this here. Guys, I hope you can see it. Bad. I start shaking. It's not even my stock. Whoa, guys, that's the statement. Whoa, guys, and let's compare it quickly. As long as the press result is not upload. Okay, the press result is release is uploaded now. Step right into it. We don't need more. We don't need less. Let's go in. Man, that's monumental, and we are all present at this monumental day. At least for NVIDIA, I guess, and the AI sector. Whew. So I don't think it will stay at 6%. I definitely will rise higher and higher. So you can already see, you saw it a minute ago or some seconds ago. So 5%, 9% up. Of course, when we talk about those numbers, NVIDIA is very likely the company of the globe, the company of the moment. So again, let's step in right now and see what is the revenue. So 13 billion, 13.5 billion as I mentioned already, and 11 billion was the outlook, and last quarter 7.2 billion the result. Then let's go into the data center, which is definitely or very likely the driver. I would surprise. Okay, I saw it already actually on the table, which I opened earlier. But let's go in, and yes, 10.3 billion compared to 4.3 billion roughly. That's just up 141% to the last quarter and 171% to the last year. Nothing, no need to add anymore. And honestly, when we talk about the automotive sector, I already see on the side glance something what I don't like. However, that's my problem. That's not yours. But let's go further. As I mentioned, I don't want to go too deeply in this. So gaming this quarter 2.5, last one 2.24. So not too crazy, but compared to the data, but still so solid. 28% up to the 11% up to the previous one and 22% to the year ago one. So still very solid. Visualization 28% up. So compared just in the relative numbers and percentage, not that largely, but compared to the last quarter with 28%, professional visualization is strong. And somehow for me the whole focus on the automotive, 253 million and down 50% by previous quarter compared to the previous quarter. That's not so great, and 50% to a year ago. I mean, of course, they had a huge raise by 140% from a year ago, last quarter, as you can see here. But a decrease, of course, is so a shrinkage basically is definitely nothing what we want to see here. Guys, crazy. And let's now check what is going on with the market. Oh, it looks like 6.7, not too much. I will update now all the different tabs I've opened here, and hopefully the mobile connection will stay strong, because the mobile infrastructure, I can tell you by my own experience in Germany, is not always the most solid one, and therefore I'm shaking now the second time for today. The first time for the results of NVIDIA, and the second time now because of hopefully the connection will stay stable. Okay, let's see, 7% up. Of course, I mean, there was already, you never know what was priced in already, you know. And as I mentioned on Monday and today, the NVIDIA stock covered already some room, and therefore it's obvious that it's not doing so much. And of course, a lot of stuff very likely was priced in after the last earnings call, when they hit the speed pedal and basically released this amazing forecast. But let's see what is with the other companies. So AMD, another semiconductor provider and direct competitor of NVIDIA, 2% up. Not too much effect, but as you can see here as well, a little bit priced in. But when we see the last year development of both stocks, I checked for this as well. NVIDIA again here, as you can see the chart, the price chart. So 1 year, let's give it like this. Yeah, you can see, of course, that is a whole different development compared to AMD, basically. Okay, let's go to Indie. Guys, okay, at least for me, you can see 3%, roughly 3%. So not a big reason to cry for me. Good for me at least. I don't want to complain here. Definitely, I lost a little bit money from Monday on. I had already feeling my gut. Maybe I purchased the stock too early, but you never know what will be the outcome. However, I'm happy that the automotive turnover of NVIDIA didn't drop too heavily, and so the semiconductor impulse, at least in general on the market, was a very positive one. Let's go on to Taiwan Semiconductor, a semiconductor manufacturer, which actually like the same for Intel, but which is a producer from NVIDIA. Intel, as far as I know, not, but TSM is for sure the major manufacturer and supplier of semiconductors, of the hardware, of the fuel of NVIDIA for the past decades, and as you can see, of course, as well, a very positive outcome. Their best customer will order a lot. I'm not sure if I'm mistaken. I didn't want to watch too much content about NVIDIA in the past days and somehow get affected by all these opinions. But I fear that a lot of companies as well, like, please don't make your own research, but I think Baidu, for instance, Alibaba, Tencent, they order a lot of hardware of NVIDIA, and yeah, really secured their stock, the storage of it. I think not the absolute newest generation, but however, and yeah, as you can see, maybe that's a result as well of this data center output and outcome and growth. So Intel is not participating at all actually by minus 0.8%. Amazon more or less stable with 1%. Alphabet more or less stable with 0.2%. Alibaba more or less stable with 0.4%. So for me, everything definitely under 1% is nothing what I actually need to mention, but I do it. Microsoft, as I mentioned, already a cooperation partner. They had a specific extra additional slide on their last earnings call. Participates a little bit more and searched the price searching. And ServiceNow quite solid as a cooperation partner, and Snowflake 3% up. But quickly, let's check this. If here, if the numbers are already available, at least here on investing.com, which would be great, and then maybe we would know that it's not only affected by, yeah, and as you can see, they are released as well. Earnings looks. As you can see, I mean, it's always some kind of sandbagging, of course, in this stage where Snowflake is currently located in terms of a growth, hyper-growth company with their cloud data-based services and solutions. And to double the forecast in EPS is not bad, of course, but as you can see, they almost tripled it a few times, and it's very regular that they're doing this. And beating the forecast by 12 million US dollars as well is not too heavy. You can see it's quite average, and they already had achieved higher beats. The revenue, I'm not sure if that's now updated or not, so I should not take too much focus on it. So if it's now 6% up, so very likely, I mean, it's a plus if the cooperation partner NVIDIA is turning into the right direction, but very likely it's as well do their own numbers, and I'm not too deeply into them. So let's go again. We go from the front to the back, and now from the back to the front again. ServiceNow, not too much development, 2% in regard of Microsoft. If the numbers are updated, yeah, it looks updated as far as I can see it. Alibaba, more or less stable still. Alphabet, stable. Not too much development going on. Amazon, quite solid. Intel, still negatively affected. TSM, going a little bit deeper in my company, even if I'm not 100% sure why the company is experiencing a price increase. Great that it's doing it. AMD as a competitor, of course, I mean, that's obvious from my perspective at least. If NVIDIA is experiencing a way higher demand of the data center solutions, AMD will expect, or AMD investors expect, that AMD will have a similar development in the future. And let's step in quickly here to see what they achieved. Yeah, and of course that's completely on a whole nother level. Was almost 20 days ago in August 1st, where on which they released their results. But honestly, that's nothing. In my opinion, it's a positive indicator that NVIDIA is really living through this almost dramatic experience. Again, another look on the earnings, which is, I mean, if you would ask the audience, the investors, NVIDIA itself, maybe a few quarters ago, who would believe that by their history, and it's definitely not a bad one. I mean, NVIDIA was always priced on a higher scale. But of course, this results make sure that on the fundamentals, it's not that priced that heavily overpriced. I mean, what is overpriced? But compared just to before this call, what was going on, yeah? So that's just crazy. And let's take a look at the outlook. Maybe that's, or what means maybe, for sure, that's very interesting. Let's take a look. Outlook, here it is. 16 billion. Okay, that makes someone almost speechless, I need to say. That's just simple strong. Crazy. So I mean, for me it was the Super Bowl, and I'm very sure that this kind of promise Super Bowl event could really keep up with the rumors, could keep up with the expectations. I'm very interested in what will be the outcome of tomorrow. You never know till the market opens around the globe, how the different stocks will develop and react. The first reaction for NVIDIA and the first reaction for at least my indie group is a positive one, which I'm quite thankful for. But of course, on the short term, that all of this is not that interesting actually. It's crazy. Those numbers are simply crazy, and I think not too much. I mean, a lot of times there are this kind of new trends which will change the world, like 3D printing, like pharmaceuticals made out of THC and cannabis products, plants, and all of this kind of rumors always exist, and most of the time it's hard to say if it's really this like this and who will be the winner out of this. But to have a very timely, soon dated, let's say, kick-off event like the ChatGPT event of the Microsoft ChatGPT bot, and a lot of people are getting first time very deeply in contact with AI solutions, and high focus results out of it, and the whole market somehow recognized it. And then even after, then people expect, okay, NVIDIA will be maybe a key and major player in this game. but a lot of times in the past it was just some high speculation, and it didn't work out like this. The same like in the dot-com crisis for a lot of companies in the century change, roughly 23 years ago. And now this is an example where really one of the expected, promised major participants of this development, of this trend, is for sure, is somehow, what you can see now in the numbers, is a participant and really profiting out of those of those results and those developments. That's just impressive. And yeah, let's see what will be the outcome on the next call. I can imagine that very likely, let's check again, 8.5%. And especially, I mean, honestly, I know it was already quite priced highly, but I expected even higher price growth, price increase. Let's see what will be the outcome till tomorrow. But really, if we take a look on the actual results, EPS, earnings, data center sales, and even if I didn't check the details, I'm quite confident that they are perfect in line. And I expected in connection that the forecast again is set so high with 16 billion for the upcoming quarter. I mean, guys, let's check again the third quarter results 1 year ago. So it was roughly 6 billion. So it's almost 3 times the revenue of 1 year ago. Crazy, just crazy. Okay, guys, for me, I don't want to steal you any time. It was just for me about really experiencing this event together with each of you guys. Let me check if there's coolly someone watching. Yeah, at least one. So welcome to you, whoever you are. Nice to have you in. As I mentioned already, I will not always stream in the future. It was more because of the earnings call season. It was the only reason why I streamed live. In the future, I will definitely set more focus on regularly record videos and somehow cut them and make sure they are more compact, more focused, more concentrated, and very likely, as I mentioned, in the upcoming 1-2 weeks, very likely 2 weeks, I will have a little bit more time to create the first update of my stock portfolio and release it here. 100% complete transparency is what you can expect and what you will see. And from there on, I will, on a more consistent base, create this kind of videos, because as I mentioned, this month or this season was now more focused on the stream, was more focused on getting experience how I, by myself, personally see myself in the content, and if I'm somehow satisfied with it. And of course I'm not, but I try to do my best to develop myself and offer you the best service I can into the future. So guys, stay tuned. Next streams will get launched in roughly 2-3 months to the next financial results. I will definitely guide as well in the future NVIDIA again. I will, as I mentioned, throw out more content, more compact, cutted and compromised video content, targeted 5 to 10 minutes, like regular content, which you can find on the platforms like YouTube. And as I mentioned, I mean, of course, in my opinion, I didn't even advise you in this call somehow, because it was just for entertainment reasons. As I mentioned, I hope you could eat some popcorn, enjoy it somehow, this kind of Hollywood stuff, what was going on today with NVIDIA. And looking forward that you join again into the future. And it was definitely no financial advice, no guarantee for correctness. Stay tuned for further content provided by myself. Stay healthy and see you next time. All the best.